Good morning. Welcome to our Sunday worship service. I am Julie Skiving, and I'll be your celebrant this morning. Before we start, I need to let you know that our speaker today has been changed. Jamie Derrick will not be speaking because of a family tragedy. We're very sorry for her loss and hope to have her speak at another better time. Instead, our speaker today is Dan Schmidt. And his topic is loving your body. I was a dancer for several years and then a massage therapist for many, many more. I'm happy to say I've been a body-loving person for a very long time. Excuse me. I'd like to extend a special welcome to people joining us for the first time. If you've come in person, you should have received a welcome packet with a card in it. If you fill that out and drop it in the offering basket, we will get in touch with you. If you're joining us online, there's a link on our website for an electronic version. Everyone is welcome to join us downstairs for coffee and conversation after the service. Our welcoming committee members have yellow name tags and can answer any questions or point you toward additional information. And now let's say our words of welcome together. Welcome to you, old and new, young and old. You are an essential part of our celebration today. Whether today is your first or your 1000th Sunday in our midst, we are stronger because you are with us. We are one people, identities, origins, sexualities, and genders. We are all growing, all learning, all loved. Body, mind, heart, and spirit, just as you are welcome here. We have 2 announcements today.
Oh, who's first?
Yeah. We're together. This is the first announcement. I'm Nancy Nelson.
I'm Michelle Hazen.
Together, we are the co-coordinators for Family Promise when we host families, homeless families in our church, and we did it for the first time in almost 3 years, 2 weeks ago. So yeah.
So it went really well. It went beautifully. There was a few small hiccups, but we'd like to thank the folks who made and delivered meals, who turned the classrooms into bedrooms, who stayed overnight, and our partner LDS congregations as well. And then also not just the folks who came, but all of you for being so thoughtful in planning the building and being so, and we're happy to report that the shower was used. So this is great. And then we're working on some adjustments for when we host again in April, and we'll keep you posted about when signups are available for that. And then if anybody has any questions, we're always happy to chat with anyone who's interested.
Very much so. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Archie George, chair of the Stewardship Committee. We're wrapping up our annual Stewardship Pledge Drive. It's gone exceedingly well this year, but there's still a few folks that we'd like to invite to submit a pledge for this coming year. It's a big budget challenge this year because of all the additional staff and media and things that we're putting on. So I'll be downstairs at a card table with some chocolates for anybody that has questions or would like to submit a pledge or just talk about anything there. I'll see you after the service downstairs. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll take a moment to say hello across the technical divide. First, we're going to show the people joining us on Zoom. If you are at home, please turn on your camera. Now, people at home, wave. Now, people who are attending service in our building, it's your turn to wave. We preface our service by acknowledging our church was built on the ancestral homelands of the Nimipu, called Nez Perce by the French-speaking traders, the Palouse, and the Chichumps, called the Coeur d'Alene. Let us pause and remember that we live on ground that is sacred, ground that was stolen, ground that cries out for justice. May our remembering help us do our part to restore wholeness to the earth and all her peoples. We also pause to light a candle and pray for peace. We hold in our hearts all those threatened by greed and imperialism, from the people in Ukraine to those in Burma and Somalia. May we recommit ourselves to nurturing peace in the world and peace within. We're hoping that folks joining us via Zoom have a chalice or a candle to light and something to light it with. Let's light our chalices together. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to share.
These opening words may be familiar. To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them. To die, to sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream, aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come, when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life.
Our opening hymn is This Is My Song, number 159 in the gray hymnal. Please rise in body or spirit. Now, let's take a moment to engage in the practice of generosity. If you are new or visiting from another part of the country, you may not be aware that we typically give away all of the cash from our Sunday offering to local charities whose missions align with our values. A program called the Month of Sundays. This month, the recipient is Sojourners Alliance, whose mission is direct intervention to help people suffering from hunger, homelessness, and poverty. For those of you able to make a financial contribution, the logistics are on your screen. This information is also on our website. If you are donating online, choose Month of Sundays from the drop-down menu. If you are writing a check, please use the memo line to tell us if it is intended for the Month of Sundays or our general fund. In the spirit of love and for the continuing work of this church, we will now take some time to practice generosity together. Oh. Hand them out. Good idea. Good call.
Seen it.
Rodney, can you come help with the joys and sorrows?
Today's meditation will be in two parts, a pair of readings, followed by a time of silence and reflection. I chose these readings. The first one's kind of long, and I apologize, but I was given short notice for this, and I decided to use other people's words. They're really good words, so I really want you to listen. So relax now in whatever way you can be comfortable, and let your body be at peace. This is from Walt Whitman. Oh, my body, I dare not desert the likes of you in other men and women, nor the likes of the parts of you. I believe the likes of you are to stand or fall with the likes of the soul, and that they are the soul. I believe the likes of you shall stand or fall with my poems, and that they are my poems. Man's, woman's, child's, youth's, wife's, husband's, mother's, father's, young man's, young woman's poems. Head, neck, hair, ears, drop and tympanum of the ears, eyes, eye fringes, irises of the eye, eyebrows, and the waking or sleeping of the lids, mouth, tongue, lips, teeth, roof of the mouth, jaws and the jaw hinges, nose, nostrils of the nose in the partition, cheeks, temples, forehead, chin, throat, back of the neck slew, strong shoulders, manly beard, scapula, hind shoulders, and the ample side round of the chest. Armpit, elbow socket, lower arm, arm sinews, arm bones, wrist and wrist joints, hand, palm, knuckles, thumb, forefinger, finger joints, fingernails, broad breast front, curling hair of the breast, breastbone, breast side, ribs, belly, backbone, joints of the backbone, hips, hip sockets, hip strength, inward and outward round, man balls, man root, strong set of thighs, well carrying the trunk above, leg fibers, knee, knee pan, upper leg, underleg, ankles, instep, football, toes, toe joints, the heel, all attitudes, all the shapeliness, all the belongings of my or your body or of anyone's body, male or female, the lung sponges, the stomach sac, the bowels, sweet and clean, the brain in its fold inside the skull frame, sympathies, heart valves, palate valves, sexuality, maternity, womanhood, and all that is a woman and the man that comes from woman, the womb, the teats, nipples, breast milk, tears, laughter, weeping, love looks, love perturbations and risings, the voice, articulation, language, whispering, shouting aloud, food, drink, pulse, digestion, sweat, sleep, walking, swimming, poise on the hips, leaping, reclining, embracing, arm curving and tightening, the continual changes on the flex of the mouth and around the eyes, the skin, the sunburnt shade, freckles, hair, the curious sympathy one feels when feeling with the hand the naked meat of the body, the circling rivers, the breath, and breathing it in and out, the beauty of the waist and thence of the hips, and thence downward toward the knees, the thin red jellies within you or within me, the bones and the marrow in the bones, the exquisite realization of health. Oh, I say these are not parts and poems of the body only, but of the soul. Oh, I say now, these are the soul. And I have a second reading for you. We have these bodies given us, a gift. Like the gifted puppy you so wanted that chewed your shoes and peed on your pants. They are gifts, both. Maybe you take it for walks. You try to ignore its bark. It's yours. They're yours. When it's gone and you're older, do you remember what it taught? Did you think you were the master? You were not. You are not. Gifts teach. We can learn.
The duet, Oh Lovely Peace, comes near the end of Handel's oratory of Judas Maccabeus. It expresses relief at the end of oppression of Jews by the celebrate the rededication of the temple, or Hanukkah, the festival of lights.
Thank you very much for that. Let me introduce myself, for I've been absent from this congregation for a while. It was this loving congregation that let me address a great fear I suffered under: public speaking. I still have tight throat and sweaty palms, but I have practiced this effort. Long ago, when I first joined this church, we had many years without a minister, and members provided the service. We had lectures, we had poetry, and chanting. I felt the call and addressed my fears. I thank the worship committee for inviting me to speak with you today. For those who don't know me, I'll introduce myself also. I'm a family physician. I'm a husband, a father, and now a crippled old man. I have spent many hours listening to the aches and pains and fears and worries of many people. That is the work I do. I don't know if I've saved any lives. I have come to believe that such is not my function here on this earth. I've come to believe that understanding the suffering I hear, I see in those private moments is my function. Today, in this month of February, Valentine's Day and all, we are called to consider love. I want to direct our attention to a love we often neglect. But it's right there with us every day. It has been with you from your birth. It will carry you to your death. We should love our bodies. I can't tell you how many times in the clinic I've run into people who refuse to be weighed. Why does a simple number carry such shame? People give us their social security number, their phone number, their credit card number, their mother's maiden name. But step on the scale? No way. There's a lot of shame amongst us about our bodies. We carry it in our mortal coil. And shame may have pushed Hamlet to consider not to be, but it is not love. I want to encourage people today to love their bodies. Let's see what we can do about that. Can I tell you my story? I was a young athlete, but I chose my sport unwisely. For some reason, I decided to play volleyball. Volleyball is a tall man's game. I'll admit the choosing was because I saw some attractive young women playing this sport, and they welcomed me. They taught me. Volleyball is defined by the net between the teams. The goal is to get to a height above that net and drive the ball down so that the other team can't get it before it hits the floor or the sand or the grass. You get the idea. I needed to jump. And I was a pretty good jumper, but I wanted to be better. I learned to use my speed to accelerate across the volleyball court and plant my feet and then redirect that momentum upwards against gravity. I was a frustrated and bitter young man for many reasons. What could help me jump higher? I had some hate to spare. That's another story. If I approached that point of leaving the earth to then drive myself upwards, I thought that by focusing all my hate so powerful in myself at that time, right there on the ground, that prison of gravity, that force of that energy would get me to greater heights. So I hated what was holding me down, and I jumped higher. But it injured my body. I played many years of volleyball, and now my knees and hips are those of a crippled old man. Don't get me wrong, volleyball was very good to me. I found the joy of being weightless. When you reach that peak of your jump and then you swing and drive the ball downward, you are held there. Gravity falls away. You don't just fall back down. If just for a tiny second, a millisecond, you are suspended. I made very good friends. I won many games. My partner and I, bragging here, won the men's doubles tournament 6 years running at the University of Idaho. And I was in my 40s, crippling myself for my advanced years. So now I am crippled. I could not accept that I was a short man playing a tall man's game. When I saw group pictures of our team, I wondered why I was slouching. I did not accept the body I had been gifted. I tried to make myself into something I was not. And now in my old age, I have the scars. My story is about height. I tried to make myself something I was not. Such folly, such silly use of harmful emotions can only cripple, and it has me. Most of the shame I see is about people's weight, but tall adolescents slouch, and they try to hide their height. Adolescence is a tough time. That's why I love the sports physical. Like I said, I'm a family doc. When I first started in practice, I thought sports physicals were dumb. I couldn't understand the point. The very rare but tragic sudden death of a young athlete on the field could only be detected with expensive and exotic screening. That's not what we do at a sports physical. I came to realize that the purpose of these exams was mainly just to limit the liability of the school district should something go disastrously wrong. And I came to accept that such is the role of the highly paid professional, me. So, I developed my own form of the high school sports physical. Usually the teen is there with a parent. I introduce myself and ask some questions and look at the forms that need to be completed. I ask the student how they're doing in school. Sometimes that takes a while to sort out. It might be important. And after we have talked a bit, I ask the teen if they know what their greatest risk for dying is at their age. Do you know? What is it? Say it? Exactly, automobiles. So, with the parent there and the child in the room, we talk about seatbelts and we talk about accidental deaths, which is the most common way they're going to die at that age. Then I ask them if they know what the second greatest risk for death is at their age. Do you know what that is? Suicide. So, then we spend some time talking about suicide and depression. I ask them about this with their parent there in the room. It is good for both of us to see that such topics can be discussed without shame or fear. Eventually, I get around to listening to their heart and lungs and checking out their joints. Often I ask the parent to step out. Sometimes I get a feeling this would be unwelcome, and I note that. Sometimes I do it anyway and see what happens. It's a tough job being a family doctor. But then the parent comes back in and I get to give my speech. As you can tell, I've manhandled my fear of public speaking. But talking to a teenager and their parent in a small room is not as frightening as talking to a room full of people or addressing the Idaho Senate. But that is another story. So you guys get to hear my sports physical speech. It goes like this. I'm talking to the young athlete. You are heading into athletics, and you get to learn to have a conversation with your body. Your body will be your partner in this adventure. Indeed, for the rest of your life, you're going to have to learn to be its partner. So, you run around the track, and your body screams at you to slow down. Are you going to listen? Do you decide to stop? Or do you just tell it to shut up and do whatever you are telling it to do? Remember, your body is your partner. Partners should be listened to. Listen. Is it the legs yelling the loudest? Is it the lungs? Listen to the screaming crowd in there. Some of them might have a point. If you listen well and treat that body of yours with kindness and consideration, your body will do wonders for you. It will be your partner. But if you ignore it and treat it like a slave, it will rebel. I don't take a drink in the exam room. Sorry. I go on. Injuries happen. When they do, they are your body telling you something, and you need to listen. Did you mistreat it? Did you ignore it? More, what is this pain of injury trying to tell you? Maybe it was just a fluke, and now you need to rehabilitate. Rehab is a gift. You get to start from a new spot and try to go to someplace else. That process is not really much different from training to be faster or stronger. The process requires lots of listening and patience. I envy you, the young athlete, your youth and strength. Please honor your body. It's the only one you get. Then I clap them on the shoulder and send them out. I think it's a pretty good speech. I've never gotten applause. I have other speeches. Some are about understanding the difference between the message of fear and pain. Another is about looking shame in the face and knowing just what that fear, the shame, means. But don't think I'm a doctor who gives speeches all day. I rarely get a chance to give a speech. Mainly I listen. The patient knows where it hurts, when it hurts. I try through my listening, my questions, my attention to honor the wisdom their body is trying to share. I try to listen when their fear, their anxiety, their worries clouds their listening. Like I said, it's a tough job being a family doctor. That's why I'm so grateful for this opportunity to stand up here and give you the speeches I have saved all my patients from. You are a gift. But we've talked about my body and teenage bodies, but we need to talk about our aging bodies. Walt Whitman, in our first reading, sung the body electric with no reference to height, weight, or age. He didn't skip over the round waist, the full thighs. He was making poetry of our bodies. I wish we could all do just that. So, here we are. As we age, these things we took for granted fade from us. We might not have cherished our agility until it fades. We may not appreciate our heart pumping away in our chest until it weakens. We may not honor our lungs until we are gasping. And we rarely face our fears until we are cornered. Those are not the lessons I preach today, but I see them daily. I myself wish I could go back and teach myself to respect the gravity that kept me grounded. I wish my father could have let go of his childhood burdens. I so wanted my mother to be able to end her life with the dignity she wished. But we are here today. We have chosen so far to take arms against a sea of troubles. And so, how will this body we have abused, neglected, ignored, carry us to our end? My take on it is pretty simple. Folks die pretty much the way they have lived. If we are fearful in life, so will our death be. If somebody is thoughtless, so might their end come. For we all are, in the end, not to be. In short, prepare. Be thoughtful, be peaceful, be kind. The message I want you to take home today is pretty simple. I'm sorry it took so long. You suffered through Hamlet and Walt Whitman, but you're still here. I want you to love your body. It may not be the body you wanted. That's just how it goes. It may not be the body on the cover of a magazine. Are you going to fall for that? It may not be the body you deserve. Sorry, but it's your body. Treat it with respect, love it, listen to it. Go ahead and listen to it. You are partners until the end. Amen and peace.
And for our closing hymn, we'll sing This Little Light of Mine, number 118. Together if you want.
Sure.
Please join us in the words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light
our paths as we leave this place. May it guide our way until we are together again. Take yourselves and your bodies and your wondrous light from here and grow peace and love in this world. You and your bodies deserve it. Go in peace. Coffee hour is after church.